God, is it bright in here? Oh, a commentor asked me a question the other day, and it was a very good question. I've never been asked this before. I wish I knew your name, but see, what happens is oftentimes a comment will pop through and appear on my phone as a notification. It doesn't happen very often, but yours did, Mr. Commentor. His question was, "Oh, what are you sniffing there, son?" Oh, man. Every now and then I get a new experience in making a YouTube video. I've never had my junk sniffed before on video. He asked me, do I need a tuner with a multi-tap UNUN? Do I need a tuner with a multi-tap UNUN, huh? Yeah, boy, that's a very, very good question because it depends on what you're doing. Check my laundry room out here, the site of my former ham shack. I miss it in here very, very bad. The end of my 80-meter end fed used to come in this window, right? Now I need to back up and not kill myself. The end of the 80-meter end fed came in that window, and by using a combination of extension wires with it, I made it too short on purpose so that I could use extension wires with it and tune it to my liking on the various bands. And on the wall, I had a chart that showed what combination of extension wires to use and what tap on the UNUN, right? Hang on. Oh, I miss this ham shack location. It's always trashed in here, and sitting here, I was never more comfortable in my life. Come on, Scout. But time goes on. And this is my new ham shack. These are my new digs. And I remember when I was a kid, look at this side closet. It's about 4 feet wide, about 8 feet long. Man, as a teenager, I'd have gone nuts if I could have this for my ham shack. Check out my Heathkit SB101. Don't mind this, that's just tape because I've got a light stuck up there. That's the rig I used in Seattle to work QRP from a second floor apartment. Worked Japan with the output turned down to 900 milliwatts. I've got a very nice dial for this thing because this one has a crack through the 15. Man, check it out. Before I talk about the UNUN, let's talk about this Heathkit HW16. Okay, now I had a recent commentor just today or yesterday leave a comment that he worked his first QRP contact 2 miles away. I told him I could do better. When I was a novice, my mom and dad bought me a Heathkit HW16 kit and BFO kit at the Heathkit store in Detroit for Christmas. Now, I'd never made a contact with it, man. And I finally got the courage up to call CQ on 15 meters. And I was 15 years old at the time. And see, that's a transmitter receiver, not a transceiver. The VFO controls the receiver, has no frequency control for transmit. You either have to buy the VFO or use crystals. So I had the VFO, and so that means you have to tune the transmitter and to the receiver, to the signal. I was scared shitless, and I heard a guy calling CQ. I tuned him in on the VFO. He came back to me, and I don't know what my signal report, but it was astounding. And this was on CW, 15 CW. I think he was like a 329 or a 319 or something worse, because I tuned him to the wrong sideband. I tuned him in on lower sideband on 15 meters. And I could hear just a trace of them that bled through the crystal filter in the rig. My first contact was about, fellow's name was Terry. I can remember. He was 5 blocks away. Okay, guys, but do you need a tuner when using a multi-tap UNUN? I didn't, because I didn't, because I had the luxury of changing those jumper wires around, in addition to choosing the tap that gave me the best match. And between those two, and also that variable cap you see there. But even without the variable cap, even with the fixed cap, the right combination of those wires and the right tap, given the length of my end bed, gave me a match on all bands, 80 through 10 meters, with an SWR less than like 1.6 or 7-ish, 1.8-ish to 1, and usually much lower than that. Now, the thing is, how much power are you running? What kind of mismatch can you tolerate? With my rig, with my Yaesu FTDX 3000, it will output full power, 100 watts, into an SWR of 2 to 1. Now, if you don't have the luxury of changing the length of your lead-in wire like I did, and you end up with an SWR of like 2.5, 2.6 to 1, if you want to run 100 watts without your rig folding back power, you'll need to run a tuner of some sort. You run your rig's internal tuner. Hit the tune button. That'll work a treat. Even better would be to use a high Q tuner like a Z-Match, but whatever. Now then, if you're running low power, if you're running QRP, let's say you're running 10 watts PEP, single sideband, or 5 watts RMS CW, oh man, your rig will output that without folding back up to an SWR of, with my rig, over 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1. Let's say you're running QRP. Let's say your rig will output your 5 watts or your 10 watts into an SWR of 3.3 to 1. Should you tune that out? Why would you? Your rig's outputting the desired power. Hitting the tune button will only decrease your output. I proved it. I proved it on here before. I have a video, and I showed that exact same scenario. I showed it running when low enough power that my rig didn't fold it back into a terrible mismatch. Hitting the tuner and getting a nice 1-to-1 SWR resulted in a decrease in my signal strength, as shown on a signal strength meter, an external to the rig. So, do you need a tuner? Yeah, it's kind of a complicated question. It all boils down to this: will your rig output the power you desire into that mismatch? Yeah, I highly suggest playing with the lengths of your lead-in wire. I don't have my end bed up right now. I took it down to measure it, and I haven't put it back up yet. But I will. Now's a good time of year because no leaves on the trees. But that's what it comes down to. Can your rig output the desired power into the mismatch that you've got between the rig and the UNUN? Right? If you're trying to run 100 watts, though, you're going to have to find you're gonna, you're going to have to find a combination of taps and lead and wire length to get you an SWR of 2 to 1 or less, something like that, something that your rig output will power in. Beyond that, don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. I have no problem letting my rig output 100 watts into a SWR of 2.2 to 1. I don't care. No, Bobby, the finals aren't running hot. They're not running hotter. They're placed under a little bit more of a stress in voltage excursions. But no, I hope you're well. I'll talk to you later. Scott, you want to say bye? Say bye-bye. Say I love, aw. Say I love you. Say I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Oh boy, I'm going to get some shit now. Because I claimed that tuning out an SWR of 3.3 to 1 will make your signal go down, not help you. It'll hurt you. Get an SWR of 1 to 1 and it'll hurt your signal. But it's true. You don't get something for nothing. Nothing is perfect. You don't get to add components in your signal path without it reducing power. Your tuner is lossy, Bobby, especially in a commercial rig like a Yaesu or an ICOM. They've got to be lossy. They've got to be somewhat broadbanded. They're low Q. They're shitty. They'll kill your signal. Leave the SWR. You'll be glad you did. I love you guys. But I do, and I hope you're well. I'll talk to you later. Bye now. Hey guys, check this frequency out. If you're listening to a Q cell on that frequency, would you say that they're off frequency? Or does it bother you? Does it grind at your nerves that they're not operating on 245? I remember getting a comment. I asked this once before, and I got a comment. Yes, they need to go up to 245. Was that you, Ed? I think so.